Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Put.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poe. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand.
Good morning, Earthlings. Hey. Off to one of those starts. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Glad that you could be here today. Today is the 8th of December, 2015. Sun sign in Sagittarius, moon sign in Scorpio. Sun sign is our conscious mind, moon sign unconscious mind. So the conscious mind is dealing with the ideas that we see represented here in the tarot card of Temperance, which is about balance, balancing out our ideas, connecting with the higher self, reaching for something higher, the higher ideals of truthfulness. The planet associated with this Jupiter is a planet of expansion, so everything gets expanded. So we can see in the world a desire for truth. At the same time, we're having a battle with a lot of darkness and things that are coming up from the depths right now. Scorpio underneath, stimulating things. Scorpio's a water sign, so there's lots of emotions and feelings out in the world. Feelings because things are being brought up, issues are being brought up that we're having to deal with that we haven't dealt with in the past. So because we haven't dealt with them in the past, there's an accumulation of this energy. One of the planets associated with this would be the planet Mars, in addition to the planet Pluto. But Mars tells us that we have this energy that's underneath, and that energy is stimulating what's going on. And when it gets bottled up, it can be very warlike and aggressive. That's why we see in this, the color here, we see all the color red around here. Okay, red. This is the color with dealing with the planet Mars, dealing with all of that energy that's associated around this change that's taking place. So if we allow this energy around us to be utilized in a creative way, then the energy will flow smoothly, and this transition we're making will be a lot smoother. However, if the energy is bottled up like it is in the world today, then what comes up from the depths is really ugly at times. And the way in which we act upon it is very ugly at times. We can see the world of what's going on right now. We could see the effects. We could see the emotions that are being pushed. We could see people on edge and the anger. We need to reach for the truthfulness of things. We need to reach for the higher self. This is not the time to get caught up in our emotions, to get caught up in anger. That's the easy thing to do. We need to do the tougher thing, which is to reach to the higher self, reach for the higher ideals. And so that is our challenge for today and over the course of this Sagittarian time. The aspects that we have coming up today, first of all, we have Pluto, which wants to bring us some deep transformation, 9:49 a.m. This is when this occurs. Then as we get into the afternoon, Chiron, the healer, the wounded healer, is going to also be coming up from the depths as well. And the wounded healer is exactly as I said, it's a part of ourselves that needs to be healed. And there's good opportunity for that as it rises to the surface. And then finally, the conscious mind and Uranus are going to have some unexpected changes, surprises that take place. This is later in the evening, 8:38 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with at that point in time. Now, as we move on into this Jewish calendar, today would be 26 Kislev. It is the second day of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to all of you out there who are following along with the celebration of Hanukkah, the returning of the light. The daily thought for today is the last war. Some people are waiting for a final apocalyptic war, but the final war is not fought on battlefields, nor at sea, nor in the skies above. Neither is it a war between leaders or nations. The final war is fought in the heart of each human being, with the armies of his or her deeds in this world. The final war is the battle of Hanukkah and the miracle of light. Very nice, very nice. On the Dreamspell Oracle, we're on day number 2 of this wave spell. This is the wave spell of the star shining bright, the light within us. Today we're on the challenge. The challenge is about the purification of the energies around us. Color red, we could see of that Mars energy. So we're purifying that which is in us so that we either can be creative, or if we don't purify that energy and we allow it to just run rampant in our lives, it can be very aggressive and angry. The dragon above us is our guide for today, learning how to nurture ourselves, nurture that creativity that we have. Free will is our occult kin, or the hidden power that we have within us. The gathering storm of energy is our challenge, and how we're going to use this in love and loyalty, compassion, dog. This is our like-minded energy. The phrase for today is I polarize, which comes from the second tone. I polarize in order to purify, stabilizing flow. I seal the process of universal water with the lunar tone of challenge. I am guided by the power of birth. We're just about to the new moon. It's only 8% full at this point in time. It's a waning moon. Space weather, solar wind, 529.5 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is quiet. Could get as high as a 4 over the next 24 to 48 hours. Large hole opening up in the middle facing us. We will be having some wind coming our way that will affect the Earth and the energies around the Earth. M-class flare possibility is now increasing, going from 5% up to 10%. X-class flare is still remaining low at 1. Mid-latitudes active 35%. We're dropping down as far as the geomagnetic storm activity in the mid-latitudes, and the upper latitudes dropping down as well from 50 to 40. So things are subsiding a little bit. And looking up at the sky tonight on the 8th, here's our graphic of the moon. The planet down here tells us that the earliest sunset of the year for the 40-degree latitude, 2 faint, fuzzy, naked eyes. The Andromeda Galaxy and the Perseus double cluster are 2 of the most famous deep star objects. They're both cataloged as 4th magnitude in a fairly good sky. You can see each with the unaided eye. They're only 22 degrees apart, high in the northeast or overhead these evenings. But if you look they look rather different the more the darker the sky. See for yourself. Okay. And here we have another example for looking north of what we'll see. And there you go. That is our cosmic weather for today. So why is cosmic weather important? Well, we don't live in a vacuum. We live in a world that is changing. We live in a world that is dealing with all sorts of energies. So we ourselves need to be aware of how these energies are being utilized so we can be more effective in life. There's our cosmic weather for today. Take it as you will. Plan accordingly as you go out and about your day. UFO News is up.
It's time for the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right. UFO News. First story comes to us from an airplane over Poland. This was on the 5th. Footage of a UFO recorded from an airplane over Poland on the 5th of December 2015.
Hey YouTube, I'm Rick from Look Now TV. Check this UFO video out.
Okay. Here we go. Here's our plane. Here's the object in the sky. Very interesting indeed. This one has a nice good trail of something coming from it. Alright, let's get a little closer look to see what this is. I'm not certain. I've seen planes with long trails like this. I've seen missiles with long trails like this. Not sure. Yeah, I guess I have seen UFOs like this. So, what is that? I don't know. If you have any ideas, thoughts, or suggestions, let me know. firstcontactradio.com or firstcontactradio@yahoo.com. A New Yorker in Long Island spots a cigar-shaped UFO. Okay, take a look at what we have here. If the page wants to cooperate, which at the moment it does not. There we go. Oh. All right. What we have here is a humongous black cigar UFO reportedly appeared in Long Island, New York, with two shining lights at both ends above a witness home near Brookhaven National Laboratory. According to the witness testimony in the MUFON database, he saw a large cigar-shaped UFO above his home in Long Island on the evening of the 23rd of November, around 6:45 Eastern Time. The witness, who says UFO sightings are frequent in the skies over his neighborhood, believes that the research activity at the Brookhaven National Laboratory has something to do with UFO activity above Long Island. The massive cigar-shaped unidentified flying object reportedly moves silently across the sky, east to northeast. It had one bright light at each end. The witness claims to be familiar with airplanes as well as their sounds, as they have always flown over the area. 6:45 in the evening on the 23rd, the witness saw two bright white lights moving northeast to northeast. Without sound, the UFO increased in altitude rapidly, stopped suddenly, then hovered in the sky for approximately more than an hour. According to the report, after more than an hour, the witness could see 4 to 5 other UFOs in the circle formation around the bigger cigar-shaped craft. The witness observed the entire fleet hovered for several minutes, and in the report, the witness said that it was not the first time he spotted these things, but it was the first time he saw the cigar craft up close. The Brookhaven Laboratory in Upton, Long Island, is a national laboratory of the U.S. Department of Energy. Brookhaven Science Associates LLC operates the lab with 3,000 support personnel, including technical engineers and scientists. The lab conducts research on medical imagery, neuroscience, environment and energy, nuclear physics, and other relevant fields of biology. The witness believes frequent UFO sightings in the area may be because of the tests conducted at Brookhaven Labs. The witness adds that in Long Island, strange UFOs are frequent, and even writes for the report, a cigar-shaped object is still out there. Okay. Next, we're going to jump back a couple weeks to the 16th of November. Here we have an object up by the sun. We've seen the same object many times. Some speculate that it is some sort of large angel. Not sure what it is. Could be some sort of craft, but anyway, it definitely has a shape to it, and it continues appearing. This angelic-looking UFO has been seen several times over the years. It's easy to tell which way it came from by the smaller ships trailing behind it. Okay, right back there, all these little things. There's no way around in space. I flipped it 180 degrees. I must admit, I got a shock. This is what it looked like to me. And this comes to us from Street Cap 1, who captures a lot of UFOs. Definitely is on the ball out there. Okay, 1 minute, 10-second video. There it is. A little up close examination. Definitely bright. Definitely has a shape. Okay. Moving on. This is a very bright, large UFO photograph above Caterham, United Kingdom. Is it a plane or a trickle of light or something more unworldly? Caterham resident Julie Stammer, who was open to the idea that there may be extraterrestrial life out there, was left perplexed by a sighting in the night sky November 21st. She said it was a white sausage-shaped light with red and green lights flashing in a kind of sequence across it. It stayed in the same position for 20 minutes with the lights staying at the same level of brightness, so it couldn't have been an airplane. Miss Stammer, a seamstress who lives in Alexandra Crescent, said it was too big and very high up it to be a drone. I'm not an avid UFO spotter or anything like that. This is the first time I've spotted something in the sky. Okay. Next story, we go to Las Vegas. We know there's plenty of lights around Las Vegas. We also know that Vegas is close to Area 51, Nellis Air Force Base. So the possibility of seeing something is always very real out there. Not necessarily of extraterrestrial origin, perhaps military craft being tested. The witness says Nevada resident of Henderson reportedly watching and videotaping a series of 6 bright lights hanging in the sky that eventually disappeared one at a time. According to testimony from the MUFON database, OpenMinds.com reports that the sighting occurred beginning at 8:42 p.m. September 18th. They appear to hover over the North Las Vegas area. I was actually thinking that this was further north than North Las Vegas, but the distance is night is just a guess, the witness stated. The lights actually had a slight amber tint to them, and you can see the passing aircraft. So we wondered if any of the aircraft saw the same lights. The lights looked like they were stationary in the sky. The witness believes the camera settings were not correct and the video is a lower quality than expected. Okay. I don't think that's a plane. That's another. And one last story here. This is how to turn your computer into a UFO detector by Alexandro Rojas. New program uses your USB webcam to scan the skies for UFOs, and when it spots something that is not a bird, airplane, or known object, it will record the UFO for you to view later. This program was created by Project CE Connecting Evidence and is simply called UFO Detector, available for free on their website. According to the site, the program includes a detection algorithm that looks for light-emitting object which cannot be identified. In other words, it will be able to detect whether the object is something mundane or not. In order to help improve the algorithm, users can submit pictures of objects that UFO Detector suspects are UFOs that obviously are not. These false positives will presumably then help the software not make the same mistake in the future. When a UFO is spotted by the software, it is recorded in high-definition video so it can be examined later. Currently, nothing can stop a hoaxer from adding a fake UFO to the video. However, Project CE plans to develop a secure video format for the program to use in the future so that tampering does not go undetected. Project CE hopes that their programs will help produce better UFO videos. The website states, I believe that we have a much higher number of good footage if we change the way we've been looking for UFOs. My detector program allows anyone to monitor the skies and the night for possible UFOs. Another future goal of Project CE is to create an online forum for people to submit their UFO videos, get them analyzed, and discuss their findings. Project CE is partnered with blackvault.com in order to get the word out on their program. The Black Vault also has instructions for a list of tips and tricks for working with the software. They also have set up a forum for users to discuss their experiences, post suggestions, and get answers to questions. Good UFO videos are hard to come by, and often the ones that get the most attention turn out to be cases of mistaken identity. Maybe UFO Detector will help UFO hunters get that indispensable footage that they're looking for. Check it out and let us know if you find something good. So there you have it. There's our UFO news. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of UFOs over the course of time simply because we do have more technology. Again, we always need to have a discerning eye because there are a lot of hoaxers out there, people that want to joke around. And then, of course, outside of the hoaxers, we have those who just are maybe amateurs and they don't know what they're recording. So we get things like lights or lens reflections that occur. We have different sorts of graphics that are used, CGI that can be used. And so there's a lot of different ways we really need to be discerning about what we're seeing. Question is, why are people hoaxing it? Why are there all of these fakes, and why are there so many skeptics that want to, jump up right away and say that there aren't anything out there? I think it's all based on fear, denial, and those are the two big driving factors, because we live in this world, and if you pay attention to what the mainstream media is trying to tell us, they really seem to push us away from thinking outside of the box, thinking outside of any reality here other than the physical reality. And that's really what the UFO thing is playing against. It's showing you something outside of the box. So if you're not taught to look there, then of course you're going to think it's silly. And that brings out all of those who want to play jokes on those who they think are being silly for studying such a subject. We just need to stay focused. Those who are studying, keep looking with a discerning eye, and also be aware. We have Project Bluebeam that's out there. Project Bluebeam states as one of its intentions it wants to simulate an alien invasion. So some of the things we see in the sky could be related to this as well. So we need to really look with a discerning eye. Are these lens reflections? Are these holograms? Is this a CGI effect? Or is it the real deal? As we keep looking, we'll find better and better ways to look at these things and come to understand it. And as one researcher discovers and shares it with others, we'll all be able to know and have a better way to look at things. And that's what it's about. We're all in this together. And so instead of bickering amongst ourselves, we need to find a way to all come together with our information so that we can move into a place of understanding as opposed to a place of conflict. Always a better idea. All right, I'm going to jump away for a moment here, and then I will be back. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continue on. So this is the second day of Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a festival that deals with the returning of the light. And that is the important part, the returning of the light. Light in itself represents information. Darkness, therefore, would be a lack of information. So if we live in a world that is encompassed and filled with darkness, we're going to be in a world that is lacking in information. So as light returns, we get more information about a scenario, a situation. We can see the practicality of that on the Earth as the seasons change, because we are now coming and approaching the time when we will be at the winter solstice, which will be the shortest day of the year. Simply means that the light that we have will be shining at the shortest amount of time, and the nighttime itself will be at the longest amount of time. Following that, the light is returning, and we will become more and more light on the planet. And we all appreciate when there's more light because it gives us an opportunity to do more things. And as the light gets brighter and brighter, we then can go into the seasons where we're able to plant and grow. And, light's very important to all things. There's a lot of darkness in the world. We're all very aware of what's going on. And unless we, each and every one of us, take a opportunity to shine some light in the world, we're just going to be caught up in this darkness that is going to keep us trapped in a state of ignorance. And that's really what happens when we're in darkness. We become ignorant. Ignorant is we don't have all of the information, and therefore the decisions we're making are based on a lack of information. We need to be smarter, and the solutions are very simple. I was thinking about how the world is going crazy right now, and there's all these talks about war and these talks about all the terrorist activity and those who want to control and ban weaponry and all this and that. I can understand on both sides of the fence all of the different arguments, and there's a lot of validity, but a lot of it is knee-jerk reactions to situations, because if we don't think clearly on and have all the information, we make a knee-jerk reaction that doesn't solve the problem. Sure, it's fine to say we want to get rid of the guns, but in situations where there's violence that occurs, it's not the law-abiding citizens that are going out with their weaponry and are causing problems. It's the criminals. It's the thugs. The thugs and criminals aren't getting their weaponry through legal channels. Therein lies the problem, because you have those who, no matter what laws are still going to find a way to get their weaponry. So as long as we have a situation that's out of balance, where you're trying to take something away from one and not do anything to deter the other, we're going to have problems. Wars only end in two ways. One way is if both sides put down all of their guns, put down all of their weapons, or two, both sides continue fighting and completely annihilate each other. And I'm thinking about, on this planet, we know that the planet and the Earth has been around much longer than our human race and humankind these days. So where are all the traces of these other civilizations? What happened to them? Is it possible that we've never been able to overcome the ideas of war, and we've continued to annihilate ourselves over and over again? Is that what's happening? Just something to ponder. But where is everybody? Did we kill each other off? And if that's the case, and we continue to do that, isn't it time for a change? Everyone needs to stop, though. It doesn't help to have one person sitting down on one side while the other person is still throwing stones. None of that works. So how do we get there? How do we get to that place where we want to have peace? Well, we're certainly not going to get it by listening only to the ways of man, because man has man's rules and wants to do things according to man's way. But we have very direct rules and laws given to us by God. And the rules from God have come in a variety of different manuals and books. It's not limited to one religion or to one faith, because God is many, many things. God goes by many names. God is all expansive. There's nothing outside of what we know of as God. Nothing exists outside. Everything is of that divine source. So we need to look at the information that we have in all of these different books and all of the different discourses, and we need to begin to understand what is God's word in there and what is the word that man put in there. And oftentimes it's challenging. One of the books that definitely is very important is the book of Psalms. And yesterday I started reading through that, and I'm going to continue doing that throughout the rest of this week. I'm going to see if I can do 7 of them a day. Did the first 7 yesterday, so we're going to jump into the next grouping today, and we're going to start now. But the book of Psalms was put together by David, who later went on to become King David. He was the one who fought Goliath. The idea of someone of small stature defeating a giant. We all have giants in our lives that get in our way. Sometimes we need to stand up to these giants. Sometimes we need to have the faith and conviction to know that no matter how big that giant is, we can overcome it. And the bigger the giant that we're able to overcome, the bigger the reward. Because that really removes something from our path. And maybe that giant needs to be there to test our faith, to see what we're going to do. And maybe that's what so much of this is about. So when we listen to the Psalms, what we're doing is we're hearing poetry. We're hearing a form of words dedicated by not only David, but by a number of others like Moses and Joshua and Adam, who all contributed, and these stories were carried along throughout the ages. We're hearing words that are giving honor to the great Creator, instilling within us a sense of faith and conviction that there is a purpose to this thing called life, and that if we follow the course, then we're going to be moving along and growing as a soul. And then when we leave these bodies, we'll reap the benefits of the things that we have done in this world. And I like to believe that we all have an opportunity to make this world a better place. And if indeed we have gone from lifetimes to lifetimes and civilizations on this planet killing each other off, I'd like to think that maybe we can end that cycle of violence, and we could for once and all get to a place where we become peaceful. And the only way we're going to do that is when we put God back into society. A society that removes God is a society that is killing itself. And we've seen it over and over and over again throughout history. All we need to do is understand the lessons of history. Those who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it because we make the same dumb mistakes. It's only when we look at what we've done in the past and the mistakes that we made, and then being humble enough to move past those mistakes, that we can grow individually and then collectively. So let's continue on with the Psalms. These are the next 7. We're at Psalm number 8. O Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth, who hast set the glory above the heavens. Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings hast thou ordained strength because of thine enemies, that thou mightest still the enemy and the avenger. When I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained. What is man, that thou art mindful of him, and the Son of man, that thou visit him? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with the glory and honor. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet, all the sheep and oxen, yea, all the beasts of the field, the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, and whatsoever pass through the paths of the seas. O Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. Psalm number 9. I will praise thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will show forth all thy marvelous works. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praise to thy name, O thou most high. When mine enemies are turned back, they shall fall and perish at thy presence, for thou hast maintained my right and my cause. Thou satest in the throne, judging right. Thou hast rebuked the heathen. Thou hast destroyed the wicked. Thou hast put out their name for ever and ever. O thou enemy, destructions are come to a perpetual end, and thou hast destroyed cities. Their memorial is perished with them. But the Lord shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment, and he shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee, for thou, O Lord, hast not forsaken them that seek thee. Sing praises to the Lord which dwelleth in Zion. Declare among the people his doings. When he maketh inquisition for blood, he remembereth them. He forgetteth not the cry of the humble. Have mercy upon me, O Lord. Consider my trouble which I suffer of them that hate me. Thou that liftest me up from the gates of death, that I may show forth all thy praise in the gates of the daughter of Zion. I will rejoice in thy salvation. The heathen are struck down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Hegelian, Selah. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all nations that forget God. For the needy shall never shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight. Put them in fear, O Lord, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. Selah. 10. Why standest thou far off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be an adversary. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor, and he draweth him into his net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked contemn God? He hath said in his heart, Thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite, to require it with thy hand. And poor committeth themselves unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of earth may no more oppress. 11. In the Lord I put my trust. Now say ye to my soul, Flee as a bird to your mountain. For lo, the wicked bend their bow. They make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence his soul hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. For the righteous Lord loveth righteousness. His countenance doth behold the upright. 12. Help, Lord, for the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fall from among the children of men. They speak vanity, every one with his neighbor. With flattering lips and with a double heart do they speak. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Who have said, With our tongues we will prevail. Our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us? For the oppression of the poor, for the sighting of the needy, now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. The wicked walk on every side, when the vilest men are exalted. 13. How long wilt thou forget me, O Lord? Forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall mine enemy be exalted over me? Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Lighten my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. Lest mine enemy say, I have prevailed against him, and those that trouble me rejoice when I am moved. But I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. I will sing unto the Lord, because he hath dealt bountifully with me. And 14. The fool hath said in his heart, There is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works, and there is none that doeth good. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men, to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. They are all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge? Who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon the Lord. There were they in great fear, for God is in his generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel here come out of Zion. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. All right, I'm going to stop there. We did another 7. I'll do another 7 tomorrow, but listening to those words, I mean, whose side would you want to be on? Would you want to be on God's side, or would you want to be on the side of all of those wicked, deceitful ones? Because everything that's in here makes it pretty clear what's going to happen. So all of those who are in the world that are lying, deceiving, cheating, their day will come. Their days are numbered, and not by human hands, but by divine hands, by God's will. So whatever is going on, we need to stay strong. We need to stay strong because there are many pulling away. These words were written a long time ago, and yet they apply very much to what is going on in the world. So we need to remain strong, and we need to not worry about the numbers, because the numbers are just part of the vanity out there, thinking that we have big, big numbers in the things we do. The numbers might be small. The believers might be a small group. The book of Revelation talks about 144,000. I don't know exactly what that number is. There's a lot of speculation on what that number is, but it does indicate that out of the whole world, there's only a small portion that continue to believe. It's because many believe and fall into the trap of man. And as we've seen from looking at the card, the specific card of the devil, it's a card of ignorance, because man is trapped up in only the physical world. They've forgotten about the spiritual realms. So we need to be strong, and we just need to keep bonding together with those who believe. There are a lot of believers in this world. There is a lot of those who are putting God first. And as we continue to come together and understand that, we'll grow in strength, we'll grow in number, and all will continue to be well. And as we grow in number, and as we stand in that divinity, and we stand in that power of God, we see through the illusions that are out there. We realize the lies that are being told. And that's the most important part to understand, because if we can't tell the difference between when we're being told a lie or the truth, therein is the biggest problem we're going to be facing. Okay? All right, let's move on here. This is an article. It is called We Are One, A Native American Perspective by Greg Prescott. As a society, we have lost connection to nature and how it interacts with every form of life. We have brought into ego, materialism, and greed at the expense of depleting our resources and subsequently killing that which keeps us alive. The following video contains quotes from Floyd Red Crow Westerman, Oren Lyons, and Russell Means. These Native American words of wisdom show us our link to all of life and the future of our planet. The driving point in this video is the story of the tree. If you cut down one tree, you are also affecting everything that relied upon the tree, such as herbs and plants that grow near specific trees, and any animal or bird life that existed in that particular tree. You're also depleting the regenerative ability for that tree to purify our air. Just one single tree connects so many living things in the forest that they are all related and interplay with one another. We are all one child spinning through Mother Sky, Shawnee tribe. Floyd Red Crow Westerman stated that we are all from the earth, and when earth, water, the atmosphere is corrupted, then it will create its own reaction. Mother is reacting. The following quote is an excerpt from Last Cry, Native American Prophecies and Tales of End Times. Aho Matakuyaku Oesin means in Lakota we are all one, not just one with a part, but one with the whole. We are preoccupied with nonsensical distractions such as sports, television, most importantly, the feeling that we need to be economic slaves to a broken system of fiat currency. We are literal slaves to the almighty dollar and are willing to work a 40-plus hours, 5 days a week until we no longer are able to work anymore. For what and for why? As the rich get richer, they are creating an even larger disparity between those that have money and those who do not. We pay our bills to things that should be inherently free, such as rent to a landlord, the lord of the land, food and water. In order to do so, we pay homage to our overlords who graciously give us employment in exchange for the government raising our children through state-sponsored education systems that are nothing more than propaganda machines and mind control. In exchange, our overlords bless us with 1 or 2 days off each week and perhaps a week or two of vacation each year. How many people are working jobs they hate for an employer who is an a-hole? Is this living or just existing? Is this why we incarnated at this particular place in space and time? The time has arrived where mankind needs to reclaim what is ours without overlords telling us what we need to do and when we need to do it. In order for this to happen, we all need to come together because once the bottom of the pyramid unites, all of us, the rest will collapse. This will be the beginning of becoming one. The rest is dependent on reconnecting with nature and finding ways to coexist, not only with ourselves, but with Mother Earth as well. It won't happen by doing nothing, as the Hopis say. We are the ones we have been waiting for. I, Chief Avril Looking Horse, keeper of the sacred Kiampa, brought to the Nakota Nation by the sacred white buffalo calf woman 19 generations ago. Miaka Oasin has a bigger meaning than just our blood relatives. Yes, it is true we are all one human race, but the word Mita Keayu means relations, and Oyasin means more than family, more than a nation. We are all humankind, everything that has a spirit, the interconnectedness of all beings and all things. We are all one. People are powerful. There is a time to become the change you want to see in the world. Peaceful non-compliance will change the current global system. Ideas such as Ubuntu and the Venus Project will transform the world into proverbial golden age. But we are at the tipping point, and we do not have much time left on the ecological clock. Like Oren Lyon stated, every day that you don't do what is right is a day you've lost an option, and you're losing your options every day. So, excellent article. And it's really, watch the video. To actually hear the words of these native elders speaking. But this is a precarious situation we find ourselves in, isn't it? We live in a world where there is so much diversity of beings in the world, different types, and we are at times segregating ourselves from each other and fighting with each other when we should be coming together as in unity. But it's really tough to do when there's so many ideas that are really challenging and at odds with each other. When religions are fighting with each other and ideologies are fighting with each other and people are fighting and all of this, we lose sight of what is going on. That we live on a planet, an Earth that is supposed to sustain us and vice versa. When we lose sight of that, as we've done, we really are in trouble, and that's the big problem we're having. So reaching out to help others is a challenge these days because sometimes in reaching out to help others, there's a lot of Trojan horses these days where you reach out to help somebody and they end up being there to hurt you. So it's hard to tell. Yes, on one hand, we want to help refugees, but when terrorists are mixing in with the refugees, it makes it difficult. When we stop at the corner and we see a homeless person there asking for change, we want to help them, But when we understand that some of these people are just out there making a living doing this and scamming the people, we have a tendency to not want to do that, to help. So, and we go on. And we've boxed ourselves in a corner because of the lies and deceit that people mix in with all of the good things. So again, it all comes back to us reconnecting with God and seeing through the illusions and the lies that are out in life. And unless we do that, we're going to really have some major challenges to overcome. But I'm not concerned about that personally, because I know what I read through the books of prophecy, through the book of Revelation, through the book of Enoch, through the words of Jesus, through the words of many, many others who have left behind words of wisdom. I know that out of all of this challenge we're having, that good is going to come out of it. And I know that those times are ahead of us. I don't think they're very far in the future. I think we can all see things playing out in a very drastic way these days. And the changes that are talked about and have been talked about, I think, and many do think that are paying attention, that these changes are right around the corner. So we just need to remain vigilant. We need to remain aware of what's going on and just continue to be kind and continue to bring God into the lives of those around us and keep reminding ourselves of who we are and the divinity that flows through us. And when we do, I believe that we're going to find ourselves growing in ways that we can't possibly imagine right now. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And when we finally realize that, we're going to think to ourselves, why did it take so long? What was the problem? The problem is our own egos. Our own egos just get in the way. So, all right, this is a video. It's a video for today. The message from Mira of the Palladian High Council. I think it's supposed to be Palladian. It was misspelled here as Palladian. So, anyway, let's check this out.
Message from Mira from the Palladian High Council.
December 4th, 2015, by Valerie Donner.
Mira.
Greetings. I am Mira from the Pleiadian High Council and currently working full-time with the Earth Council. At the present moment we are going toe-to-toe with the opposing forces. You can feel this energy being emitted from the current events. Some would like you to believe the lies and injustices that are the result of various religions, but this is not the main issue. The biggest problem is hidden agendas by those in control. Because these events are becoming increasingly obvious and the dark forces' creativity is being tapped, you will begin to see humanity awakening at a faster speed. The upheaval is a part of the giant shift in consciousness. It means that progress is being made in the ascension process. We are taking care to guard the ground crew and are closely watching over you. We know that some of you are challenged. Please do not give up. You are getting closer to your desired goals with every breath. What matters the most is that you remain peaceful and calm. Stay on a level footing. Refuse to buy into the mass conditioning. Claim what is true for you. Join each other in prayer and meditation. Stay connected with each other. Find places of joy and happiness within and with each other. Laugh. Take note of what is happening and see how you can assist in clearing the energy. The focus is on the inner realms and in connection with the higher realms of light. You are not tourists on the planet. You know your way around. Create love and beauty. Claim your divine right to be the planetary guardians and helpers. Release the old ways of being and expecting life to be the way it used to be. These are chaotic times. They will continue intensely for the next couple of years and then they will level out. The last few years of this decade will be easier and much more joyful. You have a lot of work to do. We are working with you and overseeing what needs to be fixed. Progress is being made. We desire that we could fix your problems now, however, it is not our job to rescue humanity. It is our role to be facilitators and way showers. We do this energetically in many different ways. Any attempts by those who oppose us are futile. We are on a sacred mission sanctioned by the Creator and the various alliances surrounding, and a part of the Earth and inner Earth. Our style is different from what you are accustomed to on the earth. It is peaceful and helpful. Harm and fear are not a part of the Light and Galactic Alliance. We are the providers of tools to create peace. We are strong and powerful, perceptive and useful, clear and capable of reading through the issues of concern. We are a part of a fully functioning experienced team that specializes in the ascension process. As progress continues, the energies may become even stranger to some of you. These are a measure of your awakening. Keep gathering your courage and your strength to live in the truth and the light. We shine our light and love upon you. We are grateful for what you are doing for the divine plan. I am Mira.
Okay, so that kind of explains a little bit further what I was talking about. You know, these changes that are upon us, remember, Scorpio, things are coming from the depths. Some things are not necessarily bad, they're just things that were in the depths, and once light is shined upon them, we see that we're there, we can find a way to remedy the situation. Okay, here's the Warrior of the Light message for today. Today's page 134. First, God is sacrifice. Suffer in this life, you'll be happy in the next. Second, people who have fun are childish. Remain tense at all times. Third, other people know what is best for us because they have more experience. Fourth, our duty is to make other people happy. We must please them even if that means making major sacrifices. Fifth, we must not drink from the cup of happiness. We might get to like it, and we won't always have it in our hands. Sixth, we must accept all punishments. We are guilty. Seventh, fear is a warning. We don't want to take any risks. These are commandments that no warrior of light can obey. So, if we look at these, and as you're hearing them, you probably thought, well, I don't agree with these. Well, there you go. Warrior of light shouldn't obey these because this is what the world of man wants us to believe. Close your eyes. Let's do our meditation for today. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another breath. And exhale. Now imagine being in a room. And the room is dark. And imagine the light within you shining bright, and the light from your being fills the room with light, so you can see all that is there in the room. And so you move now out of this room because you see that there is a door which you didn't see when things were in darkness. And as you walk out this door into the world, you see that there is a whole world available of opportunity. And so you begin to walk in the world, and you see that there are dark areas in the world, and as you move into those areas and your light shines into those areas of darkness, you see what is there. And sometimes things hidden in the dark are things that need help. And so we're able to help the things now that we see what the problems are. And so one by one we go into the world as beings of light, illuminating the darkness, seeing what needs to be fixed. And as we shine this light from person to person, from dark spot to dark spot, we find the world illuminated. And in this illumination, we find ourselves freer, lighter, happier, because the problems and the challenges that once held us back, that kept us in ignorance, are now in our past. And we learn from our mistakes, and we continue to shine bright this light into the world. So as we go forth this day, let's just be beacons of light. Heavenly Mother and Father, thank you for allowing your light to shine through us out into this world Thank you for allowing the divine spark of your love to flow through us, that we might help this world to grow and be that which you created it to be. For we know that we are all parts of this change, a parts of the greater whole, and that by shining our light we are fulfilling our destiny, a destiny for each and every one of us upon this earth at this time. So let us continue to go into this world and shine forth this light. Illuminate the darkness and bring an end to all of the problems that are facing us. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you very much for being here. You're going to hear lots of things today on the news, as always happens. Just don't worry about those things. It's just man trying to figure themselves out. Let's just keep shining the light bright so that we continue to illuminate and do our part. Because that's what we're here to do. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So let's greet ourselves and the arrival that is now upon us. Thank you again for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.